Mindfulness Collective. This right here, right now, is the joy of being a live stream coming to you live from Brooklyn, New York. Looks like people are barely trickling in now. Today is a very special birthday holiday episode for a very special person who I'm going to wait till they're here. So folks, as you trickle in, let me know what I won't tell you who it's for, but I will tell you what I'm grateful for. I'm in Brooklyn. And I'm grateful for Nick. Folks, hit me up. Where are you at? What are you grateful for? Yeah. Let me find out. We also have a very special guest with us here today, which I'm very happy to introduce. But until then, let me know, what on earth are you grateful for? We'll go from there. Folks, delighted to be here with you today. I almost want to turn the chat. Oh, wait. I thought I changed it anyway. Well, it'll be fine for now. It's a very special day. I'll get into it, folks, I promise. So we're going to be meditating today. We're going to be practicing today for 25 minutes. We're also going to chit-chat like kitty cats. And, yeah, have a good time. I have a friend who's co-working with me here today, and they're banging around right outside. Yeah, so what are folks up to? What's going on? Nate, West Virginia, grateful for crispy fall weather. Yeah, crispy. I wish it was a little crispier, actually. It's a little hot in here. That's what I'm just going to say. It's hot, but it's delightful. I still have my mask on. I just literally ran in from outside. And yeah, what else, folks? Where are you at? What are you grateful for? And we're going to kick it off today. Good times for all. And do we have anything else special planned? Okay, so we're going to be practicing coming soon, but until then, let me know where you're at. What are you grateful for? We'll go from there. And okay, getting set here. Okay, excellent. Nice. Let's see. Nope. Our special guest is squirming, and so we have to manage this special guest. Okay, so, and we also, today's Freestyle Friday, so we can take requests on what you'd like to meditate around, on, towards, anything you like, anything at all you like, and we'll go from there. Yeah, so folks, where are you at? What are you grateful for? I kind of like this new set. Maybe we should just keep the set as it is now. Should we keep our special guest? I feel like oh, hello, Nick from the cold Karlstad office. Almost made it in time. You are in time, Nick. It's great to have you here. I'm not telling people what today's special event is about yet, but I am just letting people know that today is a very special episode of the stream, and might as well, since Nick is here, bring out our special guest, donut-clad Willow. That's right, Willow's here, ready to lick faces, ready to knock off hastily made party hats. So, if anyone doesn't know, which I would be crazy if you didn't know it is Nick's. Oh my god, so much noise. Okay, shut up. Out of here, mask. Nick has been our longest time subscriber, and today is the exact anniversary. It's not off by a few weeks or anything. Exact anniversary of Nick being a 2-year subscriber here continuously, unbroken. 2 years of all of our lives have gone by, and Nick has been a continuous subscriber here on our channel. Today is Nick's birthday. So to sing Nick happy birthday, we have Willow, who's going to sing in the form of licking. ASMR. Nose licking. Hello, Tamalan. Welcome from India. Tamalon, today is Nick's 2-year subscriber anniversary, so we're having a very special birthday party here. Willow is wearing a donut. We have some party favors here, and of course, most importantly, Nick, I got you a very special gift. Hope you don't mind me giving you this gift here on stream. Maybe we should save the gift till after the meditation. No, we'll just do it now. Nick, so it's a very special gift for you. I got Nick some catnip, which you can smell right through the microphone. If anyone doesn't know, we've never seen Nick, so it's basically it's Schrodinger's, Nick at this point. We're just assuming Nick is either a cat or not a cat. I'm assuming more on the it is a cat side. This is, my friend, is the good stuff. This is the dank shit. This is for you. Hopefully you can, sniff that right through the microphone all the way over there in Karlstad. Very exciting. So we're going to be meditating here for 25 minutes in honor of Nick's 2-year anniversary. And because of that, we're pulling out all the stops. We even have glitter-filled balloons here that I've decided were too loud for the dog and for the microphone. So we're not shaking those about, but Willow is here with us to meditate as well. So we're taking requests. What do you guys want to meditate on, about, around, aboard, about, above, across, after, against, along, among, around, at? Did anyone else have to memorize the adverbs? What is it, Willow? This is very vocal for Willow. She must be really excited to sing you happy birthday. Willow, hey. My friend is here, so she wants to go play. Willow. That's a good girl. Okay, so what would you guys like to meditate on, around, aboard, about, above, across, after, against, along, among, around, at? Oops. Willow is here to sing happy birthday, but she doesn't know the words to the song. I know you want to play. Okay, maybe I should leave her not in her little pen here, but in her, but let her play in her pen with my friend next door. Okay, folks, give me 10 seconds. I'm going to put this little monster away so she doesn't disturb the entire. Whoa. Thanks, Nick, for subscribing. Look, 24 months subscription. Woohoo! Yay! Thank you for the support for all this time. It means so much. It's one of those things that is definitely, it supports us, and it's the gesture that's the most important part. We really appreciate that. Willow appreciates it the most. Isn't that right, Willow? Just say something to Nick. Go ahead. Just you usually talk off camera, but just a couple words. Just happy birthday, Nick, whatever you want. You do feed the dog. You exactly help feed our dog. Thank you so much for all of that. Okay, so give me 10 seconds. I'm going to go put her next door so she's not whining the whole time. In the meantime, everyone, wherever you are, just sing happy birthday to Nick, and he'll just sing it really loud because he's in Sweden. I'll be right back. Oops. Balloon down. Uh-oh, this happened last time. I tore this thing down when I sat down. Okay. So, folks, what should we meditate on today, being Freaky Friday and a very special birthday episode? Let's see, let's crank this up a tiny bit. Oh, P.S. I don't know why I never use this camera. I was just like, it's a little bit overkill, but I finally just put like my best camera on the stream, and I can, do all sorts of crazy effects, but one of which is just simply to zoom out. Okay, folks, what do you want to meditate on? What should we meditate on today? Nick, anything you say takes top priority. What do you want to meditate on? What kind of practice do you want to engage in? And we'll go from there. Hello, Project Gnarly. Hello, hello. You know what, folks? This is a perfect opportunity because it's not only Nick's. Oh my God, Nick, thank you so. Oh my God, Nick gifted all these tier 1 subscriptions. That's so kind. Thank you so much. Thank you on behalf of Maurice, Blatterall, Tamalan. Thank you, Nick, for that support. Very kind of you. Very fun. Project Gnarly. Oh my God, look at that. Such a sweet, what a sweet gesture. What an obscene gesture. Project Gnarly, we have a way of welcoming folks who it's their first time here. Very happy you're here. Thank you for joining us. Let us know how you doing, where you're at, what are you grateful for, and welcome. Let's see, and that's our general community welcome. Anyone else is welcome to join in. You blew my mind the last time I was here. Oh, you were here before here, and it took me some time to come back for a second dose. Sounds good. I'm not new, but thanks. Well, we're new to this whole game anyway, so let's see. I wanna expose the birthday message for a little while. Okay, so folks, what do you want to meditate on today? What do you want to practice aside from just making sure the balloons are symmetrically distributed here? Besides that, what do you want to practice on? What do you want to meditate on? Project Gnarly, maybe you have some idea. Today's Nick's anniversary here on the stream. Longest subscriber. Incredible. Incredible. What do folks want to meditate on? I feel like, it is easy enough for me to just be like, we'll just do this. But the reason I have you pick is because it's helpful to pick your own path. Your own path is the most interesting one, typically, and the one that is most aligned with your values. Compartmentalization. Okay. So one thing that we could, I'll just start talking about this and see if it's interesting to meditate around, is the mind's tendency to produce objects. This is the mind's general tendency to produce the experience of things that are divided objects, different things, right? So you have this divided object, Nick's catnip. And the fact that it is very clearly Nick's catnip, even though I have it, is clearly the mind's placing that label on here. I placed the label on here, but now that I remind you, this is Nick's. This belongs to Nick, even though he's in Sweden. The mind tags this with that. And it's a novel object, right? This dank catnip is pretty novel. My new camera can actually zoom in on things, which is great. Oh my God. Look at that. Come on. Why did I have not used this camera in the past? That's right. It knew it was time to switch back to me. This novel-ass catnip. It's a novel object, so it's sort of like it's kind of held together in the mind a little bit. You might forget it really easily. But if there's a less novel object or an object that is much more familiar, like the self, well, the mind will hold that very easily. My other name was Through Fire. I think that might be what you know me as. That's what we know you as best. But remember, your new avatar has all of it. It's a new object, right? You've created a new object for us to wrap our minds around. And now we're trying to link that object with the other object. So that compartmentalization, object permanence, all of those pieces come together in that way. Okay, Nick says, why the mind always goes for the catnip and is scared of silence. Okay, novel psychoactive substances. That's true. The mind is very drawn towards novelty. The mind's tendency, well, typically in meditation we use that desire for novelty. We have to ignore how it usually does that because the internet is very novel, so it gets stuck on like the internet, right? So we try to get it to look at how novel the current moment experience is because it'll drive us to pay closer attention, which is very valuable. Is so the mind's tendency to move towards novelty and scared of silence. I think it's less scared than it is unfamiliar with, and also devalues devalues silence, devalues calm, quiet, because these are, for survival, you got to think like what is going to be instinctually more important, something that's quiet and calm or something that is like interesting and novel, right? It's like interesting and novel will pass genetic material forward. Quiet and calm, you're not passing anything forward, you're taking a nap. Internet is catnip on steroids. It is. Really honest, we found a way to give ourselves like massive doses, continuous doses of random amounts of dopamine, which is the most addictive possible version of that. So that is the internet does that really well. So object permanence and the mind's tendency to move towards novelty. The other thing I was thinking about for this meditation was that I mentioned that thing. Wait, is this related? Should I explain or should I just do it? Mind's tendency. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to explore the mind's tendency to produce spatial relationships. Now, if you don't see the connection there between what we're talking about, object permanence, and what was the other topic here? Novelty. Novelty is a little bit tricky. How would we explore that? I only use that as a kind of general net positive, the mind's tendency to explore novelty. Okay, that might creep in, but it's not coming to the foreground right now, so I'm going to put that on the back burner for a little bit. But what I will say is that we're going to explore the mind's tendency to produce spatial arrangements. Spatial arrangement is the sort of, and an arrangement is the mind's tendency to organize data spatially. But that's how objects are. Objects are organized spatially, and then they get like an extra title on top of it, like catnip. But this is located here in my hand, it's this size, it's this shape, and even when it goes away, the mind will still hold that object spatially. So we're going to talk and look at spatial relationships in this meditation. So find a nice comfortable position that you can maintain for the duration of the sit. We're going to be practicing for 25 whole minutes, and I promise you'll survive. If you're just joining us and you're unsure if you could do 25 minutes of meditation, make the commitment now of how much you want to sit, because if you are deciding, I'm halfway through, maybe I should, it's not going to work for you. So decide now, I want to do 10 minutes or I want to do the whole 25, and let that decision be made no matter what comes up. The system might be like fidgety or wanting or whatever, wanting to keep going, wanting to stop. Let that decision be one you make beforehand, so you can just offload that decision. You don't have to make that decision ever again during this meditation. So once you find that nice comfortable position, ideally with the knees lower than the hips, so that the spine can simply balance. If the knees are higher than the hips, the spine actually has to push to straighten up, versus if they're lower than the hips. Actually, right now my knees are slightly higher than the hips. I was cheating a little. And watch my posture as my knees go lower than the hips. You can see I'm sort of tilt forward right now. I'm going to put my knees down. I don't know if you saw that subtle difference, but the body is actually holding itself up in this way. I'm not having to do that. Let's see. So find that comfortable position, and then when you're ready, we'll begin. I'm going to ask everyone to practice in stillness without any movement in the body of any kind. When you're ready, we will begin. Oops, wrong one. Beginning by taking a few comfortable deep breaths, just feeling the body rise and fall. Each time we begin a meditation, we begin with the momentum of all of the previous moments. Notice that the mind is organizing this moment in relationship to what we call our lives, our history, our memories. It's as though we're at the pinnacle or the front end of this imagined history. I say imagined because the mind has woven a narrative of all of these different experiences, us being the main character, delivering us into this moment, but of course that's a very specific interpretation. And this moment is much, much richer than that interpretation. The actual raw sensations of this precise moment. The richness of this has the power to wipe away that story, because even that story is just sensations in this moment as well. Physically relaxing the body, so starting at the top of the head, relax the brow, relax the muscles behind the eyes, allow the face to go smooth. Relax the back of the tongue and let the jaw go slack. Relax the neck and the shoulders. The arms, the wrists, and relaxing the hands. For a moment, tuning into and merging with the sensations of the hands. There are so many nerve endings in the palms of the hands and tips of the fingers. So much so that we ignore much of these sensations just to live our lives. So deeply allowing these sensations to be as high definition as they actually are. Explosive in richness and density, detail and nuance. Letting go of any attempt to control the breath, letting the body breathe as it will. And noticing the natural tightening and relaxing of the upper chest and upper back as the breath comes and goes. Relaxing the belly and the lower back. Relaxing these so much so that they relax the hips and the upper legs. relaxing the knees, the calves, and relaxing the feet. And then beginning to relax the entire body all together, as though it were one generalized relaxation sensation. And then relaxing the mind, opening to all sensation, all seeing, hearing, feeling as one big category. The mind will divide the world into this sensation or that, and we're simply taking all of these, collecting them all together, using awareness to detect our overall experience, letting detail fold into the general. This can at first feel like a lot of effort, but I want to assure you, awareness is like a mirror. It simply reflects anything that comes within its range. So no need to effort, just knowing, experiencing whatever is arising in this moment as one general category. All experience. To do is I'm going to say a series of words, and I'd like you to notice that each time I say one of these words, in order to understand it, the mind will produce a relationship. A spatial arrangement, and maybe even some mental imagery. Each of these words describes some spatial relationship, and notice that the mind will jump to produce that shape to help us understand the experience. The first word is the word aboard. Notice the word doesn't specify the objects. It doesn't say what is a board, what. But the mind will use association and familiar spatial relationships to show us some version of what a board feels like, looks like, perhaps even sounds like. A board. Noticing the specificity of this arrangement. Not good or bad, it's just the mind arranging sense data. The next term is about, meaning something that is about some place or something. Spatially about. And you'll notice perhaps this word is more confusing because it has different meanings. Let's try a simpler one. Above. Above. The first arrangement my mind happens to make is some sense of some object, vague, no real detail that is somehow higher than some other less detailed, less known object. Above. Images flash of different things that can hold this position, but the sense of above itself is its own quality. The next thing my mind does is put something that seems to be as though it were above the body. But this is a lot of work for the mind. Spatially, the mind likes to work things out as though they were floating in front of us. So it produces a sense of something above this body, and then sort of gets lazy and just produces it in front of me. Again, this is just my experience, but notice for you what happens when the mind simply knows the experience of above. Again, letting go into all of our awareness, all sensation as one collective. Any piece, any part of our experience, any small set of sense data, just letting that be part of the whole. Noticing that edges, definitions, borders, arrangements all break down when we contact the whole. If there's any sense that there is a viewer, an observer, a witness, just remember this is also just part. Letting that fold into the overall experience. Noticing the non-distinct spatial arrangement of the whole. If there's any sense of up or down, front or back, left, right, letting that melt into the whole. Notice what happens when I introduce the following word, across. Across. To even comprehend the word, to even know what that word means, the mind produces an arrangement. Notice that that arrangement is different than the previous words. Not trying to recall, but just noticing the specificity of across. Noticing that mind is organizing space. Something, whatever it is across from some other thing. Notice what occurs when I introduce the following word, after. Not in terms of time, not meaning something preceding something else, but spatially, something that comes after something else. Or what about the term against? This one is interesting because it's something against something else. So whatever the mind is producing, they're in contact, but they're different. Notice each of these different arrangements in the mind is different than the others, slightly somehow, but there is something that's the same each time. And that is the arrangement itself. The mind arranges space. So letting go of any of these words, or at least letting them melt into the overall. Letting any object of the mind, any sense of self or world, inside or outside, letting these all melt into the overall experience. If they can't melt, that's fine. Just noticing that any sense of the world in this moment is also simply an arrangement of the mind. The sense of me inside of this observing sense organ, and the world outside, all of these are arrangements. It's the same arranging material we've been observing. So either letting that go or seeing that it is simply the same material, the same stardust, the same arrangement of imagined space. Notice too that any sense of the past, our story, is simply a more layered, emotionally laden arrangement of space. My childhood, my upbringing, my job, all of these are simply more complex arrangements. Notice the mind create and organize this experience. Or watch it organize my near future. At some point this meditation will end. So watch the mind fire up a whole set of images, actions. Watch it prepare the body to jump into motion again, staying in stillness, staying with the practice. Noticing that even a sense of the future and the past, time itself is simply the mind playing, dancing, arranging space. It's not good or bad, it's simply nature. What if nature was so sophisticated it could produce a living being who could model space and time for survival, to pass genetic material forward? What if that were possible? A being that could create holograms in its mind, a hologram of self, and a hologram of world. Wouldn't it be amazing if we could observe such a creature, not just from the outside, but directly? Experience it producing what it sees as reality. What an incredible luxury that would be. And so staying with the practice, staying in stillness, allowing a tiny bit of light to enter the eyes, eventually allowing the eyes to rest on a single point as they fully open. Noticing that the detail of seeing produces a lot of detail of mental arranging. It all seems so solid and specific, but it's the same mental arranging. So letting this moment here with our eyes open be the great teacher that shows us how we might bring this practice into every aspect of our life. Okay. So now's the fun part. Now we get to use that digital technology of yours, those 8, 10 important digits, and let me know what that experience was like, what happened, what you're like now. The only tool a teacher has is the voice of the student. So I don't know what your experience was. How would I? But there's one way I could find out. I could ask your siblings, what was so-and-so's meditation like the other day? What happened? What did they experience? Did they notice any of the things that I was describing? Was it challenging? Were they sleepy, foggy? Perceptually, what occurred? But admittedly, that's a much less direct format than what I'm going to recommend, which is that you tell me yourself. And there's a couple ways you can do that. You can use those typing digits. You can also jump on Discord if you want to chit-chat like kitty cats. Here is the Discord. If you want to chat using voice, it's always definitely you get a little more out of it. I mean, I get a little more out of it, and I think that there's definitely more nuance you can get into. Yeah. Project Gnarly says, red pill, please. Curious what you mean. I mean, I think I definitely get the reference, but what's the meaning of that? How do you mean that? In what way do you mean that, my friend? Nope, wrong window. This one. Okay. Nick says the following, starting with oof, which is, he's referring to a single egg in French.
Oof. I was already feeling spacey before even coming here, now even more so. The sleep deprivation kind, not the pleasant spacey. You know when you're sorta racy and spacey at the same time.
Totally. Well, what I would say is, you can attend to the side of that is pleasant, because it is actually, there's a lot of it that is pleasant. Attend to the pleasant side and look for the part. This is the biggest thing with anything uncomfortable recently that I've been focusing on. Look for the aspect that is averse to it, and really, really, really accept that part that is averse. And it often really shifts the entire experience considerably. I like this birthday background. I feel like having objects in the background that looks so good, even though it looks good without them, it looks good with them. I don't know if birthday objects are the right ones, but these are pretty good. Maybe I want to spice up my background a little bit. I feel like I'm going to go back and forth between wanting to be like just black and not black. Nick says, was interesting to see the mind's reaction to different words. Yeah, and if anyone didn't pick up on this, I sort of joked about it before we started, but this is the list of adverbs that I was forced to memorize at school. Actually, it was my tutor, my dyslexia tutor, who helped me memorize them, suggested I should know them, but we didn't get past the B's. So all I know is, and actually it's funny, as far as adverbs, most of them are A's in the world. Isn't that funny? So board, about, above, across, after, against, along, among, around, at, before, behind, beneath, below, beside, between, beyond, betwixt, I think it was in that list, betwixt, etc. I want to memorize them though. Yeah, exactly. Doesn't really bother. Okay, any other reports? And let's just check if people are popping in on Discord. I know it's less common, but we should always make sure, double check. Let's see, Nick says, notice everything is relative to the body, so it's organizing space around that center, the eye. Well, it makes, the way I look at it is actually that all of our senses are symmetrical, and so the mind, it's a very good, imagine if our sense of hearing was like way off to one side, it would, we'd be like running around in a circle around, stuff, versus how it is where we're looking left to right, It's all our senses are symmetrical, so there's this sense that everything is happening to the central unit. And then spatially, in the same way as far as similarly, spatially everything is organized around the eyes, the horizon line, the sense of front, back, all these things. If you look closely, you can pay attention to your eyes, notice like what feels like behind a little bit. It's like the ears feel a little behind, like they're to the side, but they're also a little bit back. So it's like, well, what are they back from? They're back from the eyes. Your hand is like, okay, it's right by my eyes. It's sort of, okay, it feels parallel to the eyes. It feels behind me slightly, The mind is organizing everything spatially in relationship to the eyes. And the body is very interesting because this was something that minimalist sculptors discovered, or not discovered, I feel like that's very pompous to say. Let's pull up a picture just for fun since we're doing this. Nope. Stop. Internet, stop. Sculpture. Okay. Images. So, the thing is that I searched minimalist sculpture and all these like cheesy, unrelated things came up. Okay. So let's pop this one up. And let's pop on monitor 2. Okay, this isn't a great version. Can I just get one image, please? Oh, great. Lots of ads. That's what we're here for. We're here for the ads. Here for the pop-ups. Okay. This is annoying. Can I just get this image, please? Thank you. Okay, let's arrange this better. So this is a sculpture. I think this is, who is this? Robert Morris. That might be correct. Could be Tony Smith. Hey, you never know. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to arrange it better because it looks like crap. There we go. Okay, so this is a minimalist sculpture. The thing is that extension right there is face height, face level, and it's kind of intrusive. Like you walk in, like, whoa, like this thing I could walk into this and really smash my face. The other part is probably like knee high, roughly, more or less, but I could be wrong with the dimensions here, but let's just say that is what it is. What it's showing us is that the dimensions of our sense of space is very much arranged around the body, and that the body itself is telling us, like, that thing is basically that thing is sharp to our face because it's sharp to the body. It's tall because it's taller than the body. It is big because it's bigger than the body. If it was a tiny thing, just a tiny object, then it would just be considered tiny, but it's only tiny because it's tinier than the body. So hopefully that helps clarify that. We got a report here from our good friend Project Gnarly. What's up? Okay. Hey. Project Gnarly says,
I have the kind of buzzing energy now where the red pill seems more appealing. The desire to understand, to know, to seek, to explore, to delve. I've been exhausted today, but I had a few experiences throughout the meditation, the best of which was forming a future ahead of myself. Arranging the space ahead of time, sort of like actively planning and sorting. It felt like manifesting, but with more application and less hope.
Yeah. Yeah, and so the transcendent side of that is to see that it is just material moving and changing. And it's not like, it sounds very mystical, like, oh, we're just arranging, stardust, man. Like, no, like it's very, very direct. Our experience can be very, very visceral and direct because it's occurring now. And we can understand this. And I think that what you said, like that sort of instinct to want to understand and to delve, there's two ways that can go. The conceptual mind can say, I want to grab this on and I want to make a little diagram out of it. And that diagram is going to help lead me in the world. That's one direction. And that's useful. I don't want to say that that's not useful, but it's not insight and it's not transcendent. And it's not by its nature meant to like liberate us. The other side of that same drive is the drive towards what Eastern traditions would be called wisdom. So we want to look at this hierarchy of these three things of understanding, insight. I'll make a stack here. Understanding, insight, and then wisdom. Understanding can only get us so far, right? So I can describe this, this sculpture all I want, but it's only going to get you so far. It's a very different thing to experience it in person. So you could understand this for years and years and years, and that might affect how you experience it in person. But what's probably going to happen is if you really, really think about it, and then you get there, it's going to overshadow your experiencing. So understanding something can actually overshadow the experiencing of it. Suppose you really live with this thing. You have it in your, living room. It's there for months, years, etc. You really, really get into the experiencing of it. What it's like to walk by this side. What it's like to walk by this side and have to duck. Just how does it feel in this really visceral way? Well, that would be insight. You're gathering sense data over time, over and over and over again. What we did today was observe sense data, the mind producing space, arranging things with different triggers. Wisdom, where's my stack here? So understanding, insight. Wisdom is something we can't produce. It produces itself through layer after layer of insight. We observe with our senses, and suddenly, poof, the mind knows something about reality that it didn't before. And insight is the sort of building blocks of wisdom. And so we're trying to gather insight because wisdom just appears on its own. It appears out of nowhere, having organized all of the insight. I would suggest, take that instinct of like, I want to learn and discover, to I want to experience this particular moment. Don't wait till for another moment. It's like this one, whatever this is, the desire to grow and explore, etc. What does that feel like right now? How does that express itself in the body right now? Not like, oh, this desire will be helpful in some application later and I can, have a really cool life. Right now, what is it built out of? To me, that's your best bet for happiness and fulfillment and the transcendent stuff that comes with, all of the, traditional contemplative practices. Obviously, I reference Buddhism a lot, but that's because their meditation technology is very advanced. So I like those guys. Nick says, by the way, I imagine the roof straight up, not like one object above another one in front of me. Remember, when you said it, are you talking about when I said above? Remember that what that does, you say there's above, that means there's a roof. You're the object. You're the thing that it is above. It is above what? How do you know it's above? Well, it's above me. So in that case, you're the sort of given object. Like if in a sentence where someone says, sorry, right, that's a full sentence. Or no, sorry is a better example. So you say sorry, right? The implied subject of that sentence is I am. In the same way, when something is above what? The implied subject of that thought is I, and I is an object. Project Gnarly Town says the following.
I have plans for the not-too-distant future. As I reached that point in the meditation, I felt some minor details coming together to enforce the foundation of what those plans are.
Mm-hmm.
It was mostly visual, but I could feel pieces of the puzzle connecting. Very clarity, much good.
Yeah. So just know that. Okay, so I'm going to repeat what I said before, just in relationship to what you said. So we can have the tendency to notice, wow, when I really notice sense data, I get all these goodies, like, these plans arranging themselves without me even doing it. So the point of this must be to do that. Treat it as a side effect. Yes, sometimes all of this, wisdom will sort of arrange itself and be like in a practical plan, but sometimes it's going to arrange itself in the form of like, oh, yellow is a bright color. I remember once having this, it was an insight, and it really impacted me. It like changed something about the way that I saw the world in that moment. And I realized I was just eating food at a retreat, and I was very carefully eating, and it hit me. I was like, food reflects light. I know this like seems incredibly dumb, but it was just like, and like this something switched about, how reality is structured, how the experience of reality is. So just know that it doesn't, in a way, it's like, yes, we want to use this for practical purposes, but we also want to be open to the idea that this is, by its nature, something that is impractical. This is, my background is in making artwork, and we used to ask ourselves all the time, what is the difference between like an artwork and a craft? Like, or why the hell are we doing this? Like, what is this thing? I mean, where is it over here? What are we doing? We're making this weird thing. And part of the premise was it is not useful in the ordinary sense. That's part of, and it's not always the case, but it was part of the idea that it's not meant to function. Like, this is not meant to make your car move faster or make your life more efficient so you can make more money. It's meant to explore something that is deeper, that is personal, that is about what it means to be a human being. And that, to me, is the goodies. Those are the real good, good goodies. It doesn't have a function. It can, but this is what we want. This is what I would say. If it has to have a function, there's no freedom there. If we can't choose something, or rather, if we can't not do something, if there's a thing that keeps happening to us and we can't not do that, it's not a choice, right? So for instance, I always joke about the new gadget, right? The new one's coming out soon. So like, this one's obsolete, throw it in the garbage. There's always this sense of like, okay, I need the new gadget. I want the new gadget. So, what was I saying? That it can have a function. It doesn't. Where's my mind going with this? The experience can be functional, but if it has, that's what I was going to say, if it has to. So if I have to get the new phone, I just have to, and there's some part of me that thinks it does. It has to get the new one. I mean, the camera, like whatever. It feels like choice is going to bring me more freedom. I want this thing, and I get the thing, and then I feel better. But if we can't step out of that treadmill of wanting, if it's just we want and there's no way to get out of it, it's not a choice. It's prison. So actually giving us the luxury of being like, there is no purpose to the thing we're doing explicitly. It is more of a blanket experience that I'd like to have a more fulfilling life. It takes us out of the prison of things have to be like X, Y, and Z. The narrative has to go this to this to this to this. I was helping somebody yesterday. I won't give any details, but the most generic version is they kept launching into the narrative of their story and like, oh, this thing, and this kind of like, difficulties and then, resentment, this kind of thing. And I was just talking about how stepping out of that narrative is so hard, but it's so fruitful. And that's generally it. So it doesn't have to have a function. It can, which is nice. And we want the opportunity to use the function if we want to, but we also want the ability to step out of the need for it to have a function. Exactly. Okay, any other questions, comments? I'm trying to get this right, guys. Questions, quandaries, queries, comments, challenges, or concerns. So you can see my cheat sheet here over here. This is what I use to do the stream. This is how I say goodbye. This is, it's Mindful Monday, or blah, blah, blah. Change the name every time, but this is my cheat sheet. Questions, quandaries, queries, comments, challenges, or concerns. And before we do that, let's go back here. Before we do that, let's lose monitor 2. Let's go back to happy birthday. Let's overload the microphone by shaking this thing and thanking Nick for 2 whole years of subscription goodiness here. Where's the hat? Where's the noisy ass hat? Where did it go? What's down here on the ground? This thing caused way too much noise and had to be abandoned. Oops. Let's get this sucker back on. Look at that. Okay, come on. See, this is what was the problem. A lot of noise. This way. All right, folks. There it is. We have some late stage comments here from Nick, whose birthday it is today. Happy birthday, Nick. Again, I don't know if anyone noticed, but today's Nick's birthday. Nick says the following in 3 parts. Let's answer this question, shall we? Where's the reading? Okay.
So I don't realize that I'm an object. I can sort of understand how there is no actual distance, like it's actually more a flat image of colors, interpretation of light waves in the mind.
Mm-hmm. The mind treats itself as an object. It has to, otherwise, how would it protect that thing? If you were just a wave function, then where would you wage war when somebody said something offensive? Like who, you have to defend something. The mind says.
Then when I came to the conclusion earlier in my life that all we experience is sensory data, and sensory data only exists in the mind, and not out there, whatever that even is. But yeah, it's the intellectual understanding, but sometimes I experience it not being out there as well without thinking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the experience over the understanding.
Well, gotta get home for dinner now. Gonna rest the mind a bit, like 2 full days. Thanks for all the fun stuff for our anniversary.
Yeah, buddy. Thank you. Thanks for your support. And everyone, feel free. We love your support there. Happy birthday, Nick. Thank you. If you have Amazon, it costs you nothing actually to subscribe if you want to. And there's a link somewhere in the chat here. I'm sure you can see. Folks, so much fun. So much fun. Okay, let's jump in here. Let's hear some outro music. And again, we're going to do the same meditation we did before for a few seconds. Here we go. Are you ready? Here we go. So listening to this music right here, right now, just noticing how that arranges the body. Often music is felt emotionally in the body. Like, dislike, feel the rhythm, feel the groove. Interestingly, I can't hear the music the way it's set up on my side. I actually just know it's playing and I remember the music, so I'm feeling all those things just from memory. So in this particular moment, just taking a few seconds to feel your life arranged in front of you, the few next moments after the stream ends, what happened during the stream. Notice that this is the mind arranging, organizing space. We call this memory and planning, but it is the same arranging of the same material that holds our world together. The mind's arranging is the kind of glue of our reality. So we're looking forward. We're going to see you again here in fewer than 72 hours on Monday. Folks, as always, practice well, take care of each other, have fun, and we'll see you all very, very soon.